going to create a modal now. Modals are fun. Modals are a composite component. So while buttons are an atomic component, so they're just, you know, an atom, as Brad Frost, his atomic design, a modal is going to be an organism, I think. I like to call it a composite component because it's made up of other components. We're going to create this sign up modal together. And then you're going to create a second one using these text fields that I've already provided for you. So first, let's create a rectangle in your Figma board. Go, if you don't have a modals page here, just go ahead and create one. There shouldn't be anything in it. I'm going to create an artboard. An artboard is just a space to design within. You can press A. If you type A, it'll let you drag just an artboard. They're also on the right side here if you're designing for a MacBook or a tablet. Those are predetermined artboard sizes, but you can also just drag and create a new one. So I have an artboard. Whoa, don't know where that came from. I'm now going to draw a rectangle by pressing R. And I'm just going to draw a shape. I'm going to manually change these sizes. So I am going to make mine 800 by 580. So 800 width, 580 height. And my artboard is clearly not big enough, so I'm just going to make that a little bigger. Okay, so I have a square. Hopefully you have those neutrals saved as color variables. If you don't, that's okay. You're just going to, again, select that, press this little menu, create a new color. I'm going to call it neutral 300. I'm going to do one for this as well, neutral 200. And we're going to do this because we're going to use this color value in our modal. So we select this rectangle, press those 4 dots. I'm going to set this to my neutral 200 value. Actually, maybe let's do neutral 100. That's a little bit better. Well, that's white. Yeah, let's do white. Let's add white. We're going to give it a back shadow. So let me save this real fast. Neutral 100. So I'm going to go back. Let's give my rectangle a neutral 100 value. There we go. And I'm going to add a back shadow. So if you go under effects here, press the plus button, it's going to give you a drop shadow. If you click this little sun icon here, it pops up in this little tooltip dialog thing where you can actually set blur X and Y. I'm going to give it a blur of 16, an X of 0, and a Y of 5. If you need these values, again, they're all in the course website, so you can go grab that. We're on making a modal. That's where we're at. So we've got 16, 0, and 5 for our back shadow. That's giving it some elevation here. All right, so we want our modal to have an illustration and an icon. The first thing, let's just add our button, right? We know we need our primary button in a default state, so if we come back over to assets again, we can drag that in. There we go. Oop. If you want to lock this, if you right click it, so locking it means you can't move it around, which is really nice because I accidentally just tried to move it. You can lock it. So now, like, it doesn't matter, I can't select this. That's really nice. So I've got my submit button here. And let's go get a graphic. Let's go get an illustration. My favorite place to go is undraw.co. Undraw.co. And if you browse now, this is created, it's all open source. You don't have to add any attributions to Katarina or to Undraw. You can use them in your designs, and you can even change the color here. So what I'd like you to do is take your primary color. Let's see mine. What value is this? If you are in your right-hand side on your design panel and you click this little like settings thing, it'll give you a color tile. You can go grab that hex value. I'm going to copy that hex value and paste it into Undraw, and look, all those illustrations now match my primary color. We're going to create like a sign-in modal. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to stick with sign-in modal. So I'm going to actually search. Let's say like search for like login. So I had this one, mobile login. You can choose whichever illustration you want. Just go ahead and download the SVG. So once it's downloaded, just simply drag it in. You can just drag it into Figma, and it's obviously a little bit big. We want to resize this. Hold down the Shift key and resize it. This will scale it appropriately, so it'll maintain all of its proportions. If I didn't hold Shift down, like, I can squish it, and I don't like that. It's not maintaining its proportions. So hold down the Shift key and resize it. And now you can place it here. I'm going to add some text in here. So on mine, I did sign up today to get access. You can just, whatever you want, right? It's just placeholder text. So I press T, and we'll do sign up. Now, if you have all of your headers done, you can just apply that header to your modal. So like if I have this, let me just add this. So H2, if I go back to modal, select your text and then give it the H2 styling, and it's appropriately sized with your type scale. All right, add a little description, sign up today to get access to cool things. This is obviously a little too big. Let's make this a paragraph. Okay. We'll just center align all this stuff. Let's say you're really bad at determining whether this is all centered. What you can do is just like drag and highlight all of it. And at the top right here, you can see we've got all these different alignment icons. So I just like to hit both of the center. So center horizontally, and this obviously isn't correct. That centers it all in the center. But now these are all vertically centered. So like if I move this and it's totally off, if you press that, it'll all snap, okay? And if you group these, if you hit Command G when you're highlighted over, now they're all a group. I can drag them around and I can place them in the center here of my modal. The last thing we'll just need is a close button. So Daniel brought up a good point at the last break that I forgot to tell you where you can get icons. If you go to the nounproject.com, you can get icons. So I just searched for close. You can just pick one of these. You might need to sign in to get an account, but it is free. So just click this icon, get a basic download. If you're going to be using this in production, please pay for it and please give appropriate credit. Today we're just going to be using this, just for our internal purposes. But again, please give credit to the creators. You're going to want the SVG. So again, download that icon and we can just drag it into Figma. Okay, so now I've got a close icon. And that's it. So now we've got a little modal.